When Sarah told her friends about the date, they all rolled their eyes. "He took you to a greasy spoon diner for your first night out?" they asked, half laughing. But what none of them knew was that a single night in that tiny, old-fashioned diner would change Sarah's life, and the lives of everyone around her, forever. You think you know where this story is going? You don't. Because what happened next? It shocked everyone, and reminded the whole town what kindness really means. Before we dive into this unforgettable story, don't forget to hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments below. This is Kindness in Action, where we share true, heartwarming stories that prove one small act can change everything. Sarah Reynolds had just moved to a small town in Ohio after a rough breakup and a layoff that left her questioning everything. She was 28, smart, kind, and starting over. New apartment, new job at the local library, and, against her better judgment, a profile on a dating app. That's where she met Jake. Jake was not flashy. His profile picture was a little blurry. His bio simply said, mechanic. Loves dogs. Can make a mean grilled cheese. But he made Sarah laugh. Their messages were easy, full of silly jokes and surprising depth. After a week of chatting, he asked if she wanted to grab dinner. "I know a spot," he said. "It's nothing fancy, but it's got good pie." Sarah hesitated. She hadn't dated since the breakup. Her ex had wined and dined her with fancy restaurants and expensive wine, but he had also lied, cheated, and left her feeling small. This felt different. So, she said yes. The place Jake picked was Rosie's Diner, a corner spot with flickering neon signs, cracked vinyl booths, and the smell of bacon grease that seemed permanently baked into the walls. It wasn't exactly Instagram-worthy. But Jake? He looked nervous but kind. He stood when she arrived. He opened the door for her. And when they sat down, he didn't check his phone once. Instead, he asked questions. Real ones. He listened. They talked about everything: books, family, failed dreams, the weirdness of starting over in life. The waitress, an older woman named Grace, smiled at them every time she passed. When Jake ordered his food, he asked Grace how her day was going. And he meant it. "She's been here 25 years, Jake said when Grace walked away. "Her husband passed last winter. She's still showing up every day." It struck Sarah, he noticed people. Not just her. Everyone. At the end of the night, Jake insisted on paying, even though the whole bill was under $20. Before they left, he handed Grace a folded $20 bill. "Jake," Sarah whispered, "that's gotta be more than the tip." He smiled. "Yeah. I know." Over the next few weeks, Sarah and Jake kept seeing each other. They laughed more. They talked about real things: money struggles, family issues, future dreams. Jake wasn't rich. He owned a small auto shop and worked long hours. But he was generous with his time, his heart, and whatever cash he could spare. Sarah started noticing how he treated everyone, like they mattered. At the grocery store, he helped an elderly man load his bags. At the gas station, he paid for a woman's fuel when she couldn't cover it all. Never loudly. Never for show. Always with a soft, "Don't worry about it," and a quick wave goodbye. One cold night in December, Sarah and Jake went back to Rosie's. They had made it their spot. But when they walked in, something felt off. Grace wasn't there. Instead, a younger waiter told them Rosie's might be shutting down soon. Business had been slow. Grace had been out sick. The owner was behind on rent. Jake didn't say much. Just nodded and ordered their usual. Later that night, after Sarah had gone home, Jake stayed up scrolling on his phone. The next morning, he showed Sarah a GoFundMe page he'd set up. "Help Rosie's Diner stay open." "I just thought, maybe people would care, he said. At first, it got a few donations, $20 here, $50 there. Jake posted about it in a local Facebook group. Sarah shared it with her book club. Then someone tagged the town's local newspaper. They ran a small article. And then, things exploded. People began sharing stories. My dad proposed to my mom at Rosie's in 1978. Grace gave me free coffee when I was homeless for a week. I used to come here after night shifts, Rosie always had a plate ready. Money poured in, $5 from a college student, $500 from a business owner who said Rosie's gave him his first job. In 10 days, the fundraiser passed $30,000. Enough to keep the diner open and cover Grace's medical billing. The day Grace returned to work, Jake brought Sarah to Rosie's early. The whole place was packed. Locals, former regulars, even a news crew from Cleveland. When Grace walked in and saw everyone clapping, her hand flew to her mouth. She started to cry. Jake didn't go up front. He didn't take credit. He just sat next to Sarah, holding her hand. Someone whispered, "Who organized all this?" The waitress from the next booth nodded toward Jake. "That guy. The mechanic. He's always been like this." Weeks later, Sarah sat across from Jake at Rosie's again, tears in her eyes. "You didn't just save a diner," she said. "You reminded this town what kindness looks like." Jake shrugged. People just needed a reason to show it. Sarah smiled. "You gave them one." Today, Rosie's diner is still open. Grace still serves pie with a side of sass. And in one corner booth, a little brass plaque now reads, "Reserved for the kind-hearted." Jake never wanted praise. He just wanted to help. But his quiet kindness lit a spark that brought a whole town together. And Sarah? She fell in love, not with grand gestures or fancy dates, but with the kind of man who tips big, listens deeply, and reminds everyone that being good to each other still matters. Kindness doesn't need to be loud or perfect. Sometimes, it's just a cheap diner, a warm smile, and one person who chooses to care. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, remember this, your kindness matters. It can start small and still change the world's. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness in Action. And share this with someone who could use a reminder that the world is still full of good people. Until next time, stay kind, and keep the ripple going.